Hey guys, it's Charlie, and today's video is going to be a viewer requested video. I received 2 messages by the same subscriber. Thank you for keeping me on track and making sure I make the video because I said I would. This video is going to be about being dark-skinned in countries that prefer light skin. So let me get to the question. She said, I sent you a message to your inbox on YouTube. It was regarding the preference for fair skin that is found throughout Asia. Just wondering how a black woman handles that. I've always wanted to visit India, but I've read about colorism there and I've gotten mixed reviews from blacks who visited there. Just wanted your thoughts. So, my thoughts on this topic. I lived in Asia. I lived in Korea. I visited Thailand. I visited the Philippines. And those are places that definitely prefer light skin. Actually, when I went to Thailand and the Philippines, it was a lot better because Thailand, the places that I went to were really, there were some places that I went to that were into reggae. And a lot of them really enjoyed having me because I had darker skin and they really liked that and my hair texture. When I went to the Philippines, I had people who told me on this specific island that they wanted darker skin like mine and hair like mine, which is really interesting and really different. Places like Korea, you get people who think you're really interesting and maybe a little weird because you have darker skin and different hair texture. One of the things that I have to say is that if you're thinking about traveling and you're of a darker skin color, not even if you're of a darker skin color, but whatever difference you might have, or even if you're a white person and you go to Asia, you really have to think clearly about who you are. It doesn't even matter if you're white or if you're black. You have to really be comfortable with yourself. Because even if you're a white person, you're going to get a lot of attention, and that attention might really put you in a big type of culture shock situation where you're kind of like out of your comfort zone. It's something you're not used to, whether it's a good situation where they're praising you or a bad situation where they're like making fun of you or think you're weird or point at you. Whatever it is, you're going to get attention for it because you're so different and you're living in a country that's so, I can't think of the word, so, what's that word? You know what I mean. It's really important to kind of take a look at yourself before you go and really learn to feel comfortable in your own skin. But not only that, I think that it's great for people to travel whether you're comfortable with yourself or not. And the reason why is because once you get out of your element, which is like your natural, what you're used to, once you get out of that and you're put into a situation where you're challenged, you're going to grow a lot. And I didn't come to really reflect on who I am and really appreciate my skin color until I went to Asia, and I really learned to really appreciate my skin and my natural hair. And that was a place where people thought I was different, really different. Some probably didn't like me because I had darker skin or kinky hair, but I learned to like it for myself. And it really depends on the person because there are some people who are really weak and really sensitive, and if you're put into a situation like that, you might crumble and you might not be able to make it. But you really have to look at yourself and what type of person you are. Do you think you can overcome those situations? If you think you can, you might become a stronger person to be put in that situation. If you don't, if you think you're really sensitive and you might crumble under those circumstances, it's probably best that you really learn to work on yourself before you go. Because I don't think that a country or a location, having those preferences should stop you. But I definitely think that it will make you grow and it'll push you out of your comfort zone a lot. And I think that some people will not make it. Some people will struggle a lot and will not have a good time. So it really depends on your personal personality and character. I grew a lot in Korea because I was so different. I never really disliked my darker skin compared to any lighter people or my kinky hair, but I came to really appreciate it a lot. I never thought that I disliked myself or my natural hair, but somehow in living in Korea, I really learned to love my hair. And I mentioned this on Blog TV. I had a really good conversation with you guys on Blog TV. I can't wait to do it again. But I mentioned that my mom doesn't like my natural hair. She doesn't like natural hair in general. I mean, she does like me, you know, obviously with whatever hair I have, but she prefers me with straight hair. She used to straighten my hair all the time. And when she talks to me on the phone, she's like, "Do you still have that fro?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I still have my fro, Mom." And I got a cute little bow in it. And even though my mom doesn't like my fro, I still love it. And, you know, you have to learn to grow as an individual. And I think putting yourself in those situations really stretches you and really helps you to grow a lot. Because if you can grow in that type of situation where you're really different and people might think you're weird or strange or just really unique in a strange way, then when you go back to your own country and you're put in a situation where your mom doesn't like your fro or your brother thinks you're too skinny, you're not affected by that as much as you would have been had you not gone. So I think it depends on your personality type, whether you'll be able to survive and really grow from those experiences or whether you'll crumble. You really have to take a look at your individual's personality and characteristics. I personally grew a lot from that because I had people asking me constantly if they could touch my skin, and then when they would touch it, they'd be like, "Oh, you're so soft," and I'd be like, "Did you think I felt like an alligator or something?" Because I was like, "How are you shocked? My skin is soft, but I feel like my skin is normal, but I feel like people come into it thinking you're gonna feel like an alligator or something." But I have had comments even in Mexico, people telling me that my skin is really soft. People want to touch your hair all the time, and you know, I've had situations in the jjimjilbang where I'm like naked and women are like, "Wow, look at her," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm naked," and I'm just like, you have to learn to be comfortable with yourself, and sometimes you need those situations to really build you, and I don't think you should just avoid them because you think you might be uncomfortable, because those are the situations that really grow you into who you are. And I think that if I hadn't had those experiences, I wouldn't be so confident as I am now. And yeah, so I'm really thankful for those experiences. And how do you deal with those situations? The main thing I think is take a lot of time looking inward, and that's what I did in Korea. If you haven't noticed, I've changed a lot. I took a lot of time to self-reflect. I spent a lot of time alone, really looking inward and thinking about who I am. And once you really spend more time with yourself alone, you'll realize that all of this is just an outer shell. And I know it sounds so like blah blah blah, you know, she's just talking whatever, but it's really true. Like when you spend more time alone and you really look inward, you realize that this is just the outer shell. And it's cool to adorn yourself with all these cool things, but in reality, the person who you are inside, the person that you get to know for yourself, the person that you continually mold into who you want to be, is the person that really matters, not this layer. So I definitely don't think that people's preferences in other countries should steer you away from going to visit. I think that for some people it will really help you grow. It'll push you to really see what you can handle, and you'll probably come out loving yourself even more and loving other people because you've been in their situation where they've been ridiculed or looked down on or thought of as weird because of their outer appearance. So maybe you'll come to learn some compassion. I forgot one little important message that I wanted to say. If no one ever went to the country because they were different, then these other people in these countries living there, the natives, would never get to know you. They would never get to understand the different people in the world. Let's say, for example, Minji. Minji would have never met me. And if no black people ever went to Korea, she would have never met a black person and understood what it's like to have a friend who's of dark skin and black from the US. So I think that are you laughing at me? No. So I think that taking the time to actually visit these countries that you may be looked at as different or weird, but you're actually opening up other people's eyes to other cultures, other different types of people, other different skin tones, other different languages, and you're giving them a chance to see the world in a different light. So I don't think that just not going to these countries is the solution. I think it would be cool if more people went. That way you can set a good example for people. That way they can have a good image of you. I'm pretty sure that I personally, at least I would like to think so, I think that I made a good impression on most people who met me in Korea and other countries, including Mexico and other places. And I hope that I was able to set a good first example for the first black person that they met, or kinky-haired person, or whatever, whatever the difference might be for them, their first. I hope that I was able to set a good example for those of you like yourselves who are looking to go after me. So remember that you might be the first person that they're meeting that's black or white or Asian or Mexican or whatever it may be. So remember to make a good example for other people who are following in your footsteps. So that's my little response. Maybe later I'll have some more thoughts, but that's my response to your situation. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing. Go check out my website, blackpearlworld.com. If you have video requests, go to my website and go to the guest book, and please type in your video requests there. That way I can keep them organized. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.